Well, hello there folks, and welcome back to the Whiskey Friend with me, Alan. Here we are again. I'm just going to dive in, guys. I've got another quick sample review to do. This time again, we're heading back to Port Charlotte from the Bruichladdich distillery. I'm just going to dive in, going to nose it. It's the Port Charlotte MRC01. It's 2010 and it's 7 years old. Again, it's part of the Cask Exploration series, which I'd recently done the OLC01. So let's see how the MRC01 does. 59.2% ABV, non-coloured and non-chill filtered. Wow. I've had that covered up, guys. Whiskey Friend coin. This one does benefit from being covered because otherwise I've just taken it off now and I've got this beautiful whiff of kind of bonfire smoke, distant smoke. It's very, very smoky, as you would probably expect from a Port Charlotte. This is 100% Scottish barley, 50% first fill American whiskey cask, 50% second fill French wine casks, and then they were combined for 2 years and for an extra maturation in Bordeaux left bank casks. Wow. Sorry about this, guys. I'm just nosing this. It's such a wonderful, wonderful nose. It's very smoky. It's that distant smoke, as I said, but it's charred meat. Maybe some crispy bacon. Maybe a well done steak, but it's definitely charred. It's got that dank peaty note up front, so it's quite boggy peat, dirty peat, damp, a little bit rubbery. Wow, so much going on in this nose. That damp wood's there, but then as you really get into it, there's a little bit of sweetness comes in, candy sweet, and before you hear the sweetness, don't get switching off because it's not all about the sweetness. This is wonderfully balanced between that dirty, dank, boggy, charred, cooked meats. There's some lovely berry fruit, maybe some raspberry, strawberry. I think I definitely got some strawberry in the OLC one. This is not nearly as sweet as that. There's much more going on in this. This is a bit more kind of dirty, damp peat going on. It's got a little bit nutty and a little bit peppery. So it's got a little nip there. You see that 59.2% ABV. But let's taste it, folks. Down a hatch. Responsibly, of course. Oh my goodness. So nice. Maybe I've underestimated Port Charlotte. Maybe I should be buying some more Port Charlotte. Big thanks to one of the Manchester Whiskey boys for this sample, Mr. Bart Nowak. Thank you very much, Bart. Sorry again, it's taken a wee while to get to it. It's been hidden away in that mountain of samples, so thank you very much for reminding me that I had it. But wow, what an experience that was for a start. Powerful, intense. Wow. 59.2 hits you. Some black pepper up front. It's not as smoky on the palate as it was on the nose, which was a surprise. I was expecting it to be a wee bit drier. But it's salty. It's like when you have a wee dip in the sea and you catch a bit of that salt water in your mouth. It's got a nice salt water, salty character. But it's very, very creamy. The mouth feels wonderful, creamy, buttery. It's like some hot buttered toast maybe going on. A little bit of bready note in there. Let's try it again. Research, of course. Wow. So nice. And at 59.2, guys, it was a little bit hot on arrival, but that second sip has definitely calmed it down. I think I'm acclimatised to that now. But it's definitely salty, peppery. There's definitely a heat there. Bit of damp grass maybe. That boggy A little bit of smoke in the back, a little bit of peat in the back. But there's a little bit of sweetness comes through, just like the nose. There's a lovely, lovely little sweetness coming in. Maybe some red fruit, some stewed fruit, cooked fruit maybe, some red cooked fruit. There's a lovely honey note, but it's like a syrupy drizzle, honey drizzle. Thinking maybe some pancakes drizzled in honey coming in there. Wonderful balance. Let's try another one, see if we can find any more. It's getting much, much easier to sip. On that third sip, heading towards the finish, the smoke is making a bit of a comeback. Wow, it's becoming a wee bit smoky, a little bit spicy heading into the finish. Wow, let's do the finish. Such a wonderfully well put together dram. The shed now is just oozing of bonfire smoke, but it's heading into that finish. It's a long finish. It's still going on. It's becoming a wee bit more smoky on the finish, a wee bit more ashy, a wee bit more dry. Maybe a bit of burnt wood, charred wood, smoky wood. But it's gone a little bit nutty again. So it's a little bit nutty there now. Maybe some almond, maybe some marzipan. In fact, the sweetness has really died off now on the finish. It's much more. I'd say there's a little bit of medicinal creeping in towards the finish. Maybe a bit more band-aid. But it's ashy. It's dry. It's gone a little bit more savoury now as well, with that little nutty note going in. Maybe a dry roasted nut, maybe something like that. Still salty. But let's have this last sip and then I'll conclude. Wow, what a wonderful, wonderful whiskey. Port Charlotte. I think it retailed about £90. I don't know if it's still available. I haven't tried to check it out, but certainly it's these last couple of Port Charlottes that I've done are really making me open my eyes towards Port Charlotte, particularly these wine finished ones. This one, you would think it'd be much sweeter, but it's really different to the OLC one. The OLC one for me was much sweeter. This is a wee bit more peaty, smoky, savoury. That dampness, that boggy peat. More like a traditional peat. The wine finish is just adding a little bit of sweetness through the middle, through the mid palate there. And then the rest, the smoke and the charred meats and the savoury notes come through in the end. But wow, what a wonderful, wonderful piece of work. Thank you very much again, Bart. Haven't actually done it with water, guys, so I don't want to make this video too long. So if you've tried it with water, guys, dive into the comments. I'd love to hear your notes. Have you tried these cask exploration series? What do you think of them? Should we start chasing them down? Should we start looking out for them? If you've tried it with water, dive in, guys. Let us know if it changes any with water. But other than that, until the next one, I'm Alan. I'm the Whiskey Friend. And as I always say, the pleasure is in the sharing. And don't forget to send your good whiskey straight down the hatch. Responsibly, of course. Until the next one, guys. Cheers.